Hey everyone, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown. It is the 10th of the 3rd. I hope we're all fine. We'll start with China, where Xi Jinping has begun an unpresidential third term as China's president. This is nailing the coffin into the democracy in China. Of course, the two-term presidential maximum was placed in to make sure that there wasn't a second Mao. Now Xi Jinping has made sure that he's able to be president for as long as he wants, potentially creating another Mao. China is currently facing a number of issues, including pressures from Washington's export controls on semiconductors, allegations of spying, and scrutiny of Beijing's close relationship with Moscow. In China, the property sector and local government continue to struggle with debt and the effort to rebalance the economy away from investment and towards consumption, which have yet to bear any fruit. Of course, you want more people to consume, because that's more money into the economy. If more people are investing or saving, then there's less money in the economy, which means less money to spend on things like infrastructure and whatnot. We'll go over to another story where Cabbage Patch prick Boris Johnson has once again nominated Daily Mail's chief and all-round arsehole Paul Dacre for a peerage, despite Dacre having previously been rejected by the appointments watchdog. If they reject him again, which, I mean, if they rejected him the first time, there's a chance that they're going to reject him the second time. It will be placing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak in quite a difficult position, where he has to choose whether to either overrule the House of Lords appointment committee or potentially have the Daily Mail as an enemy. Sunak is already under pressure over Boris Johnson's honours list, which he should not have. If you leave being a Prime Minister under disgrace, you should not at that point be able to give lots of people a peerage. But Sunak's already under pressure owing to the fact that Boris Johnson has reportedly including his own father into the honours list, which is a level of nepotism that is pretty, real bloody pretty. He's also got Nadine Dorries in there, and there's a number of people. Supposedly it was like 100 names, and even at that point the Tories went, hang on mate, that seems a bit too much corruption, can we have less corruption? And so now it's being claimed that it will be less than what May and Cameron had. Cameron had 59 names on his honours list, and he should never have done it. And Theresa May had 51, and she should never have done it. The whole thing of having an exit honours list is fucking baroque twee bollock. Anyway. The outgoing president of Micronesia, that's a massive fucking jump, isn't it? You know, Boris Johnson, the Cabbage Patch prick, over to the outgoing president of Micronesia. David Panulo, I'm quite sure I haven't pronounced his name right, but I've never heard it, so I'm only reading it, and fuck knows. He has accused China of political warfare in the Pacific, accusing Chinese officials of bribing elected officials in Micronesia, and even direct threats against his personal safety. 2 months before his term ends, the president's letter alleged China is preparing for conflict in Taiwan, and its goal in interfering with Micronesia was to render the country neutral in any Pacific war. The federal state of Micronesia is a long-standing ally with the US, with the nations having signed a formal compact of free association, with the US wholly responsible for FSM's defence. FSM, of course, being the federal state of Micronesia. You say FSM because it's a lot easier than saying the federal state of Micronesia every fucking time. In the letter, he even openly suggested switching the country's diplomatic recognition from Beijing to Taipei, the capital of Taiwan, even saying that if Taiwan paid $50 million, they could do it and support Taiwan instead of China. I like the confidence of that, of just going, fucking mate, you give us money and we'll back you. I like that. Very ballsy move. Who at this point, it's only 2 months, so he doesn't have a lot of time to push this agenda through. He's also accused Micronesia's elected representatives of taking bribes, saying that democracy was already being corroded in the region. China has spent a lot of time encouraging the likes of the Solomon Islands and Kiribati to switch diplomatic relations to China. They did that in 2019. So, with him coming out and saying this, and saying, listen, China is bribing everyone, they're going to be going into Taiwan, they're trying to make sure that the Pacific Islands are either neutral or on their side, you've put the cat amongst the pigeons at that point. So it'll be interesting. I mean, you never think of the Pacific Islands, ever, really, do you? So it's very interesting to see that play by him. We see how the next couple of months should go in the region. We all know that China wants to invade Taiwan, which is one of the reasons that when you look at Russia, you have to take in more of an account than just what happens between Russia and Ukraine. Because of course, if Russia gets anything, China will be in Taiwan in a heartbeat. It will be madness. This is only got a couple of stories left. Rishi Sunak has been praised by far-right leaders around Europe for its illegal immigration bill. The far-right Alternative for Deutschland tweeted bravo. Eric Zemmour, who is a French far-right commentator, praised the new policy, and Italy's far-right leader Matteo Salvini has said that it was harsh but fair. However, the EU Migration Commissioner has told Suella Braverman that the plans break international law. That's the sound of London passed first. With this, it's always we always have to be careful of who backs you. Very important for all your opinions. You may have an opinion, and if you look around and say, right, who agrees with my opinion? Who agrees with my idea? Now, let's say I love a cup of tea. I adore a cup of tea. Now, if I said I love a cup of tea, and the KKK, Jordan Peterson, Russell Brand, incels, and the fucking concept of apartheid all came out and said, mate, I fucking love a cup of tea, I would at that point consider my opinion on tea. I'm not saying that just because they like it, it means it's automatically wrong. It means that I would have to say, right, is there something about tea that makes the worst people in the fucking world love it so much? It's the same with this bill. This bill at the moment, this immigration bill, so far, any right-minded, compassionate human being has taken a step back and gone, this not only seems cruel, but it's going to break international law. Whereas every far-right fucker in Europe has gone, mate, or lads to you, beautiful, 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 high fives. And at no point has Sunak, Braverman, any of these gone, right, why has only the far right praised this? Or maybe they have, and they said, well, this shows us fucking the reasons, you know? because we can continue that. With the illegal immigration bill, with Home Secretary Suella Braverman saying that the European Court of Human Rights is political, is politicised, and sometimes at odds with British values. Now, this, of course, is a government attempt to sow the seeds of doubt into people's minds, so that when it does come out that it is illegal, they can, the government can go, well, European Court of Human Rights, it's the human rights that are the problem, not us. The reason we can't deal with the refugee crisis is because of human rights. So then you can come in with a Bill of Rights and you say we get rid of this, and it's Europe there to blame, there to blame, there to blame. That's what it's all about. It's all setting it up, going right, and it's the British values bit there. Going, well, you're telling us what our values are, even though there is nothing, no poll, nothing to suggest that our British values is to destroy human rights. At no point has there been any show, in any poll, anything, apart from, one could argue, voting for fucking Tories, or voting for UKIP, or voting for reform. That shows that the concept of human rights isn't massive on those particular people's ideas, but as a nation, as a country, we are for human rights. And so with Braverman saying this, it is just an attempt to sow the seeds into your mind that we've got someone to blame when it doesn't work. Lefty lawyers, judges, and it is important to remember that Braverman talks about law, and she talked about the process of courts and everything. This is someone who, when she was Attorney General, Attorney General is there to defend the law, by the by, she attacked judges, she attacked lawyers, and she defended the government as she was Attorney General, which wasn't her job. Her job was to defend the law, and she never did. She is not the person to stand up and tell us what and how law should be working, because she's fundamentally against the concept of law. Finally, New Sky analysis shows households are missing out on £23 billion a year because banks are not passing higher interest rates to savers. Mortgage holders, of course, have been hit with higher borrowing costs because of the rise of interest rates, and banks will never wear higher interest rates. The moment it's a potential for banks could lose a bit of money, that's going on to you in a heartbeat. I mean, the moment the Bank of England's done, you've already received a fucking letter saying that the mortgage rate is going to go up. But they're not going to be moving that over to savers because they're greedy bastards and can get away with whatever the hell they want. Interest rates since December 21 have gone from record lows of 0.1% to 0.4%, but the average easy access savings rate has gone from 0.2% to 1.88%, which means a £30,000 savings will get you a whole £569 in interest per year. Retire early. If the rate passed on were full, so if all of the interest rates were passed on to the saver, you would have jumped to £1,253, and that's analysis by Hargreaves Lansdown. That suggests that households are missing out on 23 billion in lost interest, which is a hefty sum to be chucked into the economy. Banks, of course, are benefiting from the widening gap between what they pay savers and what they charge borrowers. That's known as the net interest margin. Banks are, there's a simple reason, is banks are making more money because their greed is more powerful than our regulation. and so they can do whatever the fuck they want, and we have absolutely no power to stop them. We could have, but we choose not to, because lobbying, you've got Tories in, doing something like a windfall tax would mean actually holding banks to account. I mean, the fact is that the banks only have money because we give it to them. It's what you got to do, eh? I mean, set fire to the world would be my first idea, but well, anyway, that's enough of that. I don't do anything on the weekends, as you know if you've seen this. So I'll catch you Monday. Bye.